this to start. Okay, let's start on our backs. Actually, does everybody, I'm gonna grab you guys. So I have 2 blocks actually. And then we will lay over the blocks. How does the temperature feel to you guys? I turned the air on just because the other class warmed up quite a bit. Do you want the air off?
A little cold.
Okay. Yeah, let's put the air off. It's just like, it's nice to cool it down, but it's hard to keep it on because it's pretty powerful. I mean, like, look at that thing. Yeah, always speak up too if you want us to change the temperature. We have the power. Okay, so 1 block, high height. Then the other block, you'll place widthwise, a few inches apart, at the medium height. So that, when you lay back, you can drape your shoulder blades, upper back, across this first block, and then just let your head find the other one. Take your arms down by your sides, palms face up, and then kind of tuck your shoulder blades underneath you, just so the tips of the shoulder blades aren't like winging out into that block. Now you can have the knees bent, feet on the floor. That'll probably be the easiest for the lower back. Or you could bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide. Supta Baddha Konasana. You could also just straighten out your legs. So allow yourself to just get settled. And you'll want a couple blocks and a strap. You made it. Oh, you're good. And Candice, you might want to scoot towards the back of the room a little bit. And then you might have to move the one under your head. So it really feels like the block is kind of like right below your chest. Yeah. So like think of where the bottom tips of your shoulder blades might be. That's where you want that block. Yeah, that was it. So it's really like pushing the chest up rather than using the shoulders. So yours, there. Yep. So there, guys. Yep. Yours is a little too low. Yeah. Does that feel even? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then if we're gonna go to the look, do you want it on a little less tight? Not necessarily. I was gonna say, because if you do, you would turn this one down. Otherwise. Yeah. Perfect. Good, and just let the back of the head rest. Let your arms just kind of melt to the sides, turn your palms up. Again, you can try to tuck the shoulder blades under you a little bit so you can see if you can get those shoulder blade tips under you. And then you can almost feel like the bottom tips of your shoulder blades are gently pushing up into your chest. And with every breath, the shoulders get heavier. It's like each inhale, you can feel this kind of softness and lightness across the chest as you fill up. And then as you exhale, feel this releasing, the shoulders dropping, the chest dropping. So starting in a bit of a more kind of restorative shape, coming into stillness. Giving ourselves a chance to settle in and also settle down, right? We tend to, especially at the end of the day, we tend to come in with a lot of energy. All the things we've picked up throughout the day, all the things swirling in the mind, all the energy swirling in the body. So can we just let it all settle? Take 3 more rounds of breath here. If you want to change up the shape of the legs, you're welcome to do so. And then on your next inhale, reach your arms straight up towards the ceiling. Stretch them up and over your head and grab opposite elbows. Yeah, all the way to the elbows. Try to kind of cup each elbow in your palm if you can. And then you can sort of just feel gravity doing its job here. Elbows are heavy. Release the arms, reach straight up to the ceiling. Do the other cross. So whatever feels like the non-dominant grip here, take the arms overhead again. Hold the elbows and just breathe here. And then just bend your knees so your feet are flat on the ground. So coming into this position. As you release the elbows, reach under the head. And then take the block out and replace it by interlacing your hands behind your head. Block just goes to the side. So as you inhale, start to let your head drop into your hands. Any amount, let the head go down. And then as you exhale, like you're doing a little sit-up, pull your navel in, start to lift your chest up. And then exhale, let the head drop into the hands and go back. Maybe go back a little further each time. And then exhale, pull it in. Bottom ribs draw towards each other, navel draws in and down. So use your breath here. When you exhale, you're really emptying and hollowing the belly to come up. And then feel the head get heavier. Feel the chest drop when you go back. Three more like this. Explore the depth. The next time you do your little sit-up, pause, pull the belly in, reach the arms forward, try to grab the backs of your knees or thighs, and then pull yourself up. And set that block off to the side, and then just for a moment, roll onto your back. Look the knees to your chest, give yourself a little rock side to side. You can even let your head roll with that rocking, release the neck. Bring your feet down to the floor again. Grab one of your blocks, place it between your palms. Squeeze the block between flat hands, so reach it up towards the ceiling. And so reach the block up a little bit higher, squeeze it, and then take it up and overhead. And as you go overhead, can you keep pulling your bottom ribs down? So your back ribs are staying connected to the earth the whole time. And it might mean that your hands don't go all the way over your head. That's okay. Find your edge and then keep pushing your back ribs and hold here, squeeze the block. Keep squeezing the block. One more breath. And slowly bring it back up over your chest. So again, squeeze the block. Start to make that journey up and overhead. Just stop where you need to, but keep the back ribs on the ground. Keep the navel drawing in, the bottom ribs knitted together. Explore the edge here. Keep squeezing the block. And then pause for a few breaths. Slowly bring the block back up. We'll do that one more time. So maybe you go a little deeper this time. Squeeze the block. Start to slowly take it up and overhead. Keep squeezing the whole time. Push the back ribs down, hollow the belly. Keep that as you go further and further. Eventually, you'll pause at your edge. Take 3 full breaths. And then bring the block back up. And go ahead and release it. Set it to the side. Take your arms out into a wide cactus shape. Just let your elbows be heavy on the ground for a moment. Imagine someone's placed sandbags over the hands and forearms. Drop your knees to the left. Really gentle twist. And then coming to center, drop the knees to the right. And then as you come back through center, slide the feet out, reach the arms up overhead, take a full body stretch. Circle out your wrists, circle out your ankles. Go the opposite direction with those circles. And then come back to center, hug the knees to the chest. Start to roll forward and back this time. And do this for maybe 5 times. Roll along your whole spine. And eventually you'll make your way all the way up to a tabletop position. So as you arrive on your hands and knees, spread your fingers wide. We'll start with just cat-cow in the shoulders. So you can look up here if you're not quite sure what it looks like, but you drop your chest as you inhale. And then round the upper back as you exhale. So notice my hips and my head are not actually changing. So it's mostly just the shoulder blades that are moving, and your arms will also stay straight. So chest goes down, shoulder blades together. Exhale, round, shoulder blades spread apart. So when you're ready, go ahead. Feel the movement of the shoulder blades. Try to keep the head and hips neutral. So just the upper back, moving through these cat-cow shapes. So see if you can keep your head neutral. Try not to move the head. I know it's hard. Try not to move the hips either. Head and hips are neutral. So you won't get as much movement, right? But we're isolating a movement. Feel the way the scapula moves along your upper back. Let it be smaller. That's okay. Also, sometimes it's nice to just really hone in our focus on something, especially when it's something different than what we're used to, and maybe not like the preferred method. It tugs at our awareness a little bit more, helps us to be more present with what we're doing. Nice. Okay, now when you inhale, feel the shoulder blades move together. Start to drop the chest and then drop the belly. Lift your head, lift your tail. Exhale, pressing around. Slide the tailbone to the backs of the knees, tuck your chin. So go through your full cat and cows. Inhale, belly down, chest up. Exhale, press and round, but still, can we keep the awareness of the shoulder blades? When we inhale, can you feel the shoulder blades move together? Maybe even try to give them a little extra squeeze. When you exhale, as you press and round, feel the shoulder blades move apart. 3 more rounds. Good. Next inhale, come to a neutral spine, grab your blocks. So highest height, bring your elbows onto your blocks, palms together, fingertips up towards the sky, and then walk your knees back a little bit further so that it feels like you're really trying to pull your hips back. Start to drop your chest, push the elbows into the blocks, and squeeze your palms. And then you can do little mini cat-cows here. So when you inhale, let your chest and belly drop more. When you exhale, gently lift the front ribs up, pull the navel up. Exhale, drop down, or inhale, drop down. Exhale, hollow the belly, little rounding. So just explore the little cat-cows. If stillness makes more sense for you, feel free to do that too. Take 3 more rounds of breath wherever you are. And if you're moving, just find stillness. Start to walk your knees in. And then bring the elbows off those blocks and just slide them off to the side. Tuck the toes under, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bring the hips up and back into your first down dog. Go ahead and shake out your head, pedal out your knees. And then start to find stillness in your down dog, a little bend in your knees. Lift your hips up and back, find more length in your spine. Take 3 full breaths here. On your next inhalation, look forward. Exhale, take a walk to the top of your mat, Uttanasana, forward fold. Let's grab opposite elbows. Gently pull down on the elbows to stretch the upper back and release your spine. Deepen your exhales here. Stay in this fold and just switch the cross of your arms. Again, gently pulling down on the elbows. Find a little more length, a little more release into the fold. Next exhale, release the arms. Slowly roll yourself up to standing. Stack the spine, one vertebra at a time. And as you arrive at the top, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Do this a few times. Roll the shoulders forward. And then again, take them up, back, and down. Find your Tadasana. Firm the legs. Inhale, reach up, Forward Bahasasana. Exhale, back to your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift again. Pause. Hold this shape. Feel the shoulder blades move slightly together on your back. Nice. Exhale, fold a little deeper. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, drop your head. Then slide your left foot to the back of the mat. Take a block with you. As you come up into crescent lunge, squeeze the block between your hands. You could drop your left knee to the ground if you want to. But drive your right heel down, drive your right big toe down. And then just make sure you have some space between your feet. So some of you almost have like your feet on the same line. Make sure you have at least hips distance between your feet. So you might want to take your right foot a little further to the right and really push that heel down more. Good, and try to bring your left heel forward a little bit so it's actually over your toes rather than trying to push the heel towards the earth. Good. Notice how that brings that outer left hip forward too, balancing the pelvis. Okay, squeeze the block between flat hands, don't grip it. Squeeze it up a little bit higher. Turn the block so that you have a lot more surface area to squeeze with your hands. And then squeeze the pinky side of the block even more. Good, okay, now bend a little deeper into your front knee and reach a little higher with the block. Good. One more breath here. And release. Set the block down. Plant your left hand. Reach your right arm up. So again, you can drop the left knee if you want to, but we'll make big arm circles here with this right arm. As big as you can, grazing the ground at the bottom. Go the other direction with those circles. One more time, up and over. Plant the right hand. Look forward, step to the top of your mat.
Hang out in your forward fold for a moment. If you want to take Pada Hastasana, you can slide the hands under the feet or just let your arms hang, palms up. So Uttanasana is a nice recovery pose. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth. Exhale. Release your arms if they're under your feet. So we have the elbows. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Step your right foot back. Again, make sure you have some space between the feet. Stack the right heel over the toes. Grab your block. Rise up, crescent lunge. So even as you bend deep into this left knee, can you also try to pull that left thigh bone into your hip socket further? And then bend deep into that knee. Good. Squeeze the block. Squeeze the pinky side of the block more as you reach up higher and higher. Notice if the arms start to relax a little. Keep squeezing into that block. And last breath, bend a little bit deeper. Feel the left heel. Push, push, push. Reach up higher. And exhale, release. Set the block to the side. Plant your right hand. Reach the left arm up. Circle it out. Huge arm circles here. Go the other direction. Circle that hand to the mat. This time, step your way back on a Mukha Svanasana. Come into down dog. Lower to the knees, come into child's pose. Bend the elbows this time. Walk the elbows out in front of you. And then you'll bend the elbows, bringing the thumbs to the back of your neck. And just let your chest be heavy here. You can try to walk the elbows out a little bit further. Settle your chest a little bit more. Can you feel a heaviness in your hips as they get closer to your heels? With every exhale, just dropping them further. Take 3 more breaths here. And stretch the hands out in front of you, spread the fingers, lift your hips up and back, down dog. Walk your hands back to your feet, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, drop your head. And then just locate a block and a strap. Have them near you. Take the block with you first as you come all the way up to standing. So we'll do a couple things here. Squeeze the block between your flat hands and stretch it straight out in front of you. So the first thing we'll do is take the block up and overhead. And we did kind of something similar on our backs, right? So when the block goes up, you might want to also lift your ribs up and let the ribs open because that helps the arms go higher. So try to keep those front bottom ribs in and together, bottom sternum down, even as you reach up. So lower back to the chest. And then squeeze the block. Start to slowly reach it out, again, keeping that upper abdominal engagement. So we're just using the shoulders to lift, not using the rib cage. When you get to what feels like the top for you, just try to stretch the block up higher. So it might mean that you're more at a diagonal. That's also perfect. And then bring it back down in front of the chest. So just try to notice the moment it takes you into the back bend And then bring those front bottom ribs down and try to just work the shoulders. Squeeze the block. Take it up and overhead. The slower you go, the better. Watch the head, because we tend to bring the head forward because that also makes it feel like the arms go further back. So try to keep the head neutral. Chin parallel to the floor. Pause when you get to that edge. Take a couple breaths. Good. Squeeze the block. It's a good lesson in just making peace with our range of motion too. One more time. Bring the block down in front of the chest. Give it a squeeze. Slowly reach it up and back. Find your edge. Reach it up higher. Bottom ribs down. Head neutral. Good. And then release. Okay, take a break. Just give your arms a little shake. These foam blocks start to feel pretty heavy, huh? Okay, so now the arms will go straight out in front of you. You'll squeeze the block. And then all you have to do is bend the elbows. So you're actually keeping your upper arms exactly parallel to the floor and just flexing the elbows. But you're squeezing the block so much, you might actually start to create a bit of shaking sensation. You're still doing the work of those upper abdominals, pulling in, pulling down. Nice. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Three more like this. Keep squeezing. So the upper arms and the elbows don't actually move. One more time. Squeeze it, hold it, and then release. Relax your arms, straighten them out. Okay, one more. So now you'll take the block, reach it up and overhead. Again, bottom ribs down. And then you'll squeeze the block. We're going to do the same thing, but now it's overhead. You just bend the elbows, block goes behind you, and then bring the arms to straight. So we're really squeezing the block the whole time, pushing, pushing. Elbows are staying in the same place. Upper arm bones also staying in the same place. Only moving the lower arms. And keep pushing that block, as if you were trying to like squish the block. Good. Feel this one? Good. It's funny, we always think like when yoga teachers ask questions, it's rhetorical. But I actually do want to know. So we feel this one, right? Okay, great. Then we can stop. Shake it out. And then grab your strap. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of a stretching thing after that. Make a big V with your strap. You'll have to adjust this too. So if you have any shoulder stuff, just be mindful. You might not want to take the strap all the way back. But if you feel like this is okay for both shoulders, you can go all the way back and then take it up and overhead and all the way in front of you. So if one or both shoulders aren't feeling it today, you can go up and overhead and just do this half circle in front of you. And then try to get the shoulders and the arms to do the same thing. So you might notice you get to a point where one shoulder kind of tries to do some funny thing to get over. And then gently pull the strap so that you have some tightness between. It's not just hanging. Can you keep the arms straight? And then you just adjust from there, right? You can take the strap wider or make it more narrow. When you go up and over the head, try to keep those bottom ribs down and in. Good. 3 more like this. Okay, now we get to do the fun one. So you'll take your strap out in front of you, soften the knees for this one, and you're just going to kind of go all the way around with it, sort of like a little windmill kind of thing. Try to keep the arms pretty straight and keep pulling on the strap. You might need to like Double it up so the tail is not flying around. So for this one, you get to move the whole body. And then go the other direction. Soften the knees. Last couple rounds. Just whip it around. Yeah. And then come back to center. And while we're here, let's make a little loop in your straps for later. But while we have it, we'll just make it. So the loop will end up being essentially the width of your shoulders. Shoulder to outer shoulder to outer shoulder. Mid shoulder to mid shoulder. And then you can just drop that to the side. Have a block nearby your mat towards the front. And then let's all just step to the front of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Notice how good that feels. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step to plank. However you want to get there, lower slow to your belly. Take a little baby cobra, roll the shoulders back, lift your chest, Bhujangasana. Exhale, release, downward dog, take your hips up and back. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Inhale, take it back. Keep your pinky toe pointing down so the hips are still level. Exhale, knee to nose. Good. Inhale, up and back. Knee to nose again. Round your spine. Lift your knee higher. Slow it down and step your foot through. Grab your block back to crescent lunge. So again, make sure you have some space between your feet. Think of standing on like railroad tracks rather than or skis rather than a tightrope. Skis is a good one. Okay, so with your block here, again, you could drop the left knee to the ground, reach the block all the way up, bend the elbows. This time you bring the block to the back of your head. Now, hug the elbows in, wrap the elbows up as you lean your head into the block. Go ahead and lean back. And then at the same time, pull your block into your head and push it between your hands. Keep wrapping the elbows up and up and up and up. Remember that feeling of stretching the backs of your upper arms when you're in child's pose, when you walk the elbows forward, elbows in more, elbows in more. Lift the elbows a little bit higher. And then release the block from the back of your head, stretch it straight up to the sky, squeeze it between your hands. And exhale, release. Set the block to the side, plant your hands, and downward dog. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth, exhale. One more like that, deep breath in. Sigh it out, let your breath drop. Now lead with the inseam of the leg, right? So we're keeping the back of the pelvis balanced, left leg goes up and back. Your pinky toe points down towards the ground. As you exhale, knee to nose, come forward. Inhale, three-legged dog. Nice and slow exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, take it back. Knee to nose, round, round, round. Round more, lift more, step it through. Then grab your block, take it up and overhead. Squeeze the block between your hands. Bring the block to the back of your head. So again, can you wrap your elbows in, and then lift your elbows up towards the ceiling as you drop your head into the block and try to pull the block into your head at the same time, squeezing it between your hands. Good. Good. Can you lift those elbows up a little bit higher? But keep the bend in your left knee. Push your left heel to the ground. Two more breaths. Elbows in, elbows up. Nice. Next breath, release. Inhale, reach that block up. We're in a hurry to get out. Exhale, release. These thumb blocks are getting heavy. Set it to the side. Down dog. Step back. Let's do a little counter stretch. Lower to the knees. Place the hands at the tops of your thighs. So just sit up for a moment. Place them palms up, right at the tops of your thighs. And then you're going to fold up and over the hands, and then just let the elbows drop towards the ground. If you hate that for any reason, you can release your hands and you can have your arms by your sides. In my experience, it's quite lovely, so you can decide if you like it. So yeah, hands would be up in the kind of hip creases with your hands up. Yeah, and then when you fold over, just drop your elbows. Yeah, it's kind of nice, right? Drop your shoulders. Okay, how are we feeling? We have one more little bit of effort in us. Yeah, great. Take 3 more deep breaths here. You can release the hands if you're over it. One more time, deep breath in. As you exhale, gently slide the hands out. Slowly roll yourself up to a seat. Okay, so we're going to work dolphin pose. If you know that Pincha Mayurasana is part of your practice and you are interested in kicking up in this pose at all, go to the wall. There's plenty of wall space, might as well use it if you know you might want to do that. If you're just going to be lifting one leg at a time, you can stay where you are. And I'll just show prep for this pose. So there's a couple options. So you'll take your block. We've been doing this all class, right? So you're going to be squeezing the block between flat hands and at the same time pushing the pinky side of your hand into the ground, including this part of your wrist. So if this starts to lift, you've got to work a little bit harder to push that to the ground because it's going to be really hard to ever balance if this part of your wrist is coming off. So you can even put that down first, then squeeze the block. And that sometimes is helpful. You'll take your shoulder loop and you'll put it just over your elbows. And you want to make sure the elbows are not much wider than your body. So mine's a little too big. So that you could just barely bring the elbows to your sides. That's about, and you can even test it. Like it's basically, if you grab opposite elbows, that's the width you want it to be. And you want it to be snug so that you can push out into it. And it is right above the elbows, okay? Then grab the block, push out into the strap at the same time. You'll push the forearms and then tuck the toes, lift the hips, right? So not like downward dog. We're not pushing our chest away from the block. You're actually trying to stack your shoulders over your elbows. So walk your feet in and try to lift your hips up. And then you have the option of lifting a leg. Again, we're not opening the hip here. Inner thigh up, pinky toe down. And then if you do that, you're going to do the other leg. If you want to go to the wall, you would basically do the same thing, but you push the block into the wall. And then you have a little bit of support if you did want to take your legs up. So you just work on this, right? Walking your feet in, lifting your hips higher, get the shoulders over the elbows, push the ground away from you, squeeze the block between flat hands. You rest when you need to, because we'll do this a few times. So maybe you go up, you hold for 5 breaths. Oh, so the strap is right below your elbows. Most of you have it above. Did I show it like that maybe?
You did, yeah.
Oh.
I think you
I think I might have. I was like, wait, this looks weird. It's below. Yeah. So the strap is there, just to explain it, the strap is there to help prevent you
from letting your elbows splay. So if you've ever done this pose before and your elbows kind of slide out to the side, that's what it's for. So it keeps them in. This is what happens when I teach 15 classes in a week. Good. Flat hands on the block. See if you can do it without gripping. Good. Push the elbows. Push, push, push. See how it feels to maybe even come higher on your toes and just shift more weight into the arms. Take one more rest break, and we'll do one more round of this. So the other thing you might have noticed is if that strap is above the elbows, you might run into it with your head. Sometimes we do put it there, but for this particular one, we want it on the forearms. Good. And then rest. Do one more if you have it in you. So let's say you were going to balance in this pose and try to take your legs up into the inversion. You would move the strap above the elbows so that you have something to push out into, and it gives you a little more stability if you're training that at all, just to know the difference. And it'll still help keep your elbows in for the most part. Okay, when you're done, you're done. Take the strap off, come into child's pose, and just rest for a moment. Always good to rest after working an inversion. Even though both feet weren't over your head, still getting the inverted aspect. So ground your forehead. Let the body recalibrate, sink your hips down. Take several breaths here. Shift forward onto your belly. So we'll do one of my favorite shoulder chest openers. Take your right arm, stretch it straight out to the side, and then turn your right ear to the mat. So your palm is on the ground. If you need less sensation, you will move your hand closer to your feet. If you want more sensation, you don't actually take the arm higher than your shoulder, but you could cactus the arm and just bend at the elbow. So just know that if you go into the pose and you're like, oh, I want more, I want less, those are your options. So the arm is reaching straight out. So rather than overhead, it's straight out like a half T shape. Yeah. And then you can start to slowly roll on to your right side. You can stack the knees or maybe bend the left knee and plant the left foot behind the right leg. You could even, if you don't need the left hand in front of you for balance, you could sweep the left arm around behind your back and turn your palm to face out, and you get kind of a double shoulder opener here. Spread the fingers of your right hand and feel the ground beneath each fingertip. Take one more breath on this side. Bring the left hand down to support you, coming back to the belly, and then just stack your hands under your forehead and come to center. You can give your hips a little rock side to side. And then turn your left ear to the mat, stretch your left arm back to the side like a half T shape or cactus. And then you can start to roll onto that side, stack the knees or step the right foot behind you. Also option to take the right arm behind your back, and if you do so, make sure the palm is face out. So you can even kind of push that hand into your lower back a little bit. Just feel how that opens the right shoulder. Take one more breath here. And slowly release onto the belly, stack the hands, come to center for a moment. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then just gently shift onto your back. From here, you can keep your head at this end of the mat, just keep it easy. Take your right leg, cross it up and over your left. And then shift your hips an inch or two to the right and let your knees fall over to your left for a twist. Sweep your arms out into a T or a cactus shape with your palms up. Let your shoulders open. Just let your spine receive this twist and feel the heaviness of your shoulder blades into the ground. The heaviness of your arms, the elbows, the backs of the hands. And come up to center. Switch the cross of your legs. Shift the hips an inch or two to the left, and the knees can fall to the right. Again, feel the heaviness all the way down the arms, all the way down the fingertips. And gently unwind as you come back to center. Hug the knees in towards your chest. Make sure to shift everything back to the center. Maybe even find a final happy baby. Just a gentle rock side to side, something that is symmetrical. And then when you feel ready, we'll drop into our final resting pose. Coming into Shavasana. Grab anything that you may want to add. If you need support under the knees, you could always roll up that blanket, place it over you. And just let your arms rest by your sides. Turn your palms up. Gesture of receiving. Remembering that Shavasana is not just the ending of the practice, but rather the culmination of it, where everything comes together, lands, integrates, absorbs. So can we be still enough and empty enough to receive? Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth, exhale, let it go. Final surrender, Shavasana. Start to slowly deepen your breath. Begin to add small movements back into your fingers and your toes. When you're ready, reach your arms up overhead, take a full body stretch. Bend the knees and gently roll to your side and come on up to a seat. Gather your palms together in front of heart center. Just take a final moment here to notice the effect of this practice. Maybe give your shoulders a little roll. Notice if there's been a shift physically, energetically. And then we'll seal this practice with the sound of Om. Start with a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale for 1, Om. Release your chin to your chest, bowing in gratitude for your body, for your breath, and for this moment of peace. Om Shanti. And gently release your hands, lift your chin, and blink your eyes open slowly. Thanks for practicing with me tonight. Have a lovely rest of your day. I hope to see you all soon. My name's Amanda, by the way. I'm subbing. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy to answer them or chat. And I hope to see you all soon.
How much longer are you subbing this intensively?
Just this week. I actually go out of town on Tuesday. And then I'll be gone. Well, I'll be here on the 31st, but I'm pretty much gone for the next 3 weeks. Yeah, but I'll be here tomorrow at noon, and then Monday at 4:15. Yeah.
I'd like to have you.
Oh, good. Thanks. I love being here, so it's a symbiotic relationship.